the greatest Rocky of them all, Todd Helton.
Deep right field. You got to be kidding me. How do you like that?
Congratulations to Todd Helton, 2,000th career hit.
Any era of baseball you'd like to talk about, he'd be a great player.
Wouldn't you know it, number 2,500 is a double. He's not one to do this, but now's the time.
Thank you, all of Colorado, for making my baseball dreams come true.
Mr. Rocky for a reason. Todd Helton enjoyed the largest increased Hall of Fame voting percentage among the last 2 years among the 2024 candidates. Look at the difference. So, Bobby Brady goes up a little bit. Gary Sheffield, pretty sizable jump, as did Andrew Jones. Billy Wagner from 51 to 68, but Helton really eye-opening from 52 to 72.2%. And one would think with the Hall of Fame coming out, that vote will increase even ever so slightly to the needed 75%. Todd Helton's Mr. Rocky for many reasons, Dan. 5-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, all-time leader, games played, hits, home runs, RBI. Obviously, you know him better than most. What's the most convincing argument that Todd Helton's a Hall of Famer?
Crazy as this sounds, Adnan, for me, it's his road numbers. Because Coors Field is such an anomaly, and everybody looks at the home numbers. For me, his road numbers are so elite because he had a hit in Coors Field.
Right.
So he just think through this now. He played a game at Coors Field a mile above sea level. Everywhere else he traveled was either at sea level or slightly above. Mm-hmm. He saw no movement of pitches at home. And then he put up those numbers on the road with players, great players that are currently in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. He played in the most challenging
that's the career OPS. That's his road OPS.
Yeah, his road OPS. He played in the most challenging environmental ballpark that the game in any professional venue has ever seen. And he did that all those years. There were times as a GM, I never worried about him playing, but there were times that he couldn't even walk and he played because he was the ultimate competitor. He was always prepared. He never took a day off mentally or physically. And he is the greatest Rocky player, and he should be a Hall of Fame player because he performed in such challenging conditions versus other Hall of Fame players.
First all-time as far as games, hits, home runs, RBI, and runs are concerned. What's been the biggest reason he doesn't get in? Is this his Coors Field bias?
I think it's this Coors Field thing that people just don't get. They look at the home road differences and just assume that he's a creation of the numbers he put up at home.
Right.
But the numbers he put up on the road are even better because of all the stuff he had to deal with at home. Mm-hmm. And he had to go through those environmental changes his entire career. Home versus road, home versus road. It was really, really hard to do. And I felt like if he was in another normalized situations, he'd be a slam dunk Hall of Famer, and he should be a slam dunk Hall of Famer now.
I like the fact you always point out the physicality of playing at Coors Field, the toll that would take. Forget about the mental strain, the physical strain, that's tangible as well. Matt Holliday, also a guy, had a terrific career. You look at his numbers. What's the most provocative argument that Matt Holliday should be in Cooperstown?
Matty's peak, first of all, Matty's one of the best human beings I've ever had been associated with in my career. And he made other people better around him because of the type of individual he was. But if you look at Matty's peak from 06 to 2014, his RBI total is right up there with the best players of the game. His OPS numbers from 2006 to 2014 are some of the best in the game. He was a very, very consistently great player for a long period of time. So I think Matty's a guy that's going to continue to gain steam as people really dig into his career. And he doesn't have to deal with the Coors Field phenomenon because once he got
St. Louis.
Oakland was a little bit of a pit stop, but once he got to St. Louis, he flourished there. So he showed how great of an offensive player he was for a really long period of time.
Almost a career 300 hitter, over 300 home runs.
Great stats, a great slash line.
I was about to say, this isn't a guy who just hit for average or hit for power. He was able to do both.
He did it all.
And defensively, a guy who was also...
And another guy who was extremely durable in our game when he posted up all the time. I mean, and I just think that's something in our game that we don't talk about enough. There are players that get into the Hall of Fame that takes days off when they don't feel well to protect their numbers. I was around a few of those kind of players in my career.
Yeah.
Both Todd Helton and Matt Holliday never did that. They played even when they knew they weren't at weren't at their best.
Respect for both those guys, certainly. The contemporary era vote is going to be on Sunday. So this involves managers and guys who are really on the mix. Major names: Lou Piniella, Jim Leland, Davey Johnson. I saw Ron Darling making a push for him on MLB Now. Cito Gaston, of course, 2 World Series, the Blue Jays, and executives and umpires: Ed Montague, Hank Peters, Cowboy Joe West, and Bill White. 12 of 16 votes needed for election. This will place picks on Sunday here on the network. So we'll definitely keep you abreast of what happens, who gets in. But I know you wanted to make a case specifically for Hank Peters.
Yeah, I mean, this one's close to me. Hank was kind of my mentor. He along with Lou Michelson, hired me, in Baltimore with the Orioles. I became very, very close with Hank. He pretty much taught me everything that I know about the game. And every one of his good qualities I didn't have. But he really taught me what it was to be professional. He wasn't a self-promoter. But if you look at the totality of his career, executives are hard to evaluate, because back in that era, they weren't very public people, not like they are today.
Right.
But, I mean, Hank was a World War II veteran, boots on the ground in the Army. He ran the Kansas City Scouting and Development System, the A's, before they became Oakland A's. And you're talking about Campaneris, Hunter, Fingers, Blue Moon Odom, Gene Tennis, Joe Rudy, Dick Green. He laid the foundation for those World Series teams. He then went on to run minor league baseball during the most tumultuous time. He told me stories that he couldn't even give franchises away to people to run. And they almost didn't survive, but because of his leadership and his acumen and his vision, they did survive. Then he went on to the Orioles, and he ran that franchise like a well-oiled machine. They should have won.
Executive of the Year.
Yeah, he should have won in '79. They were a tremendous team. They got beat by the Pirates in the World Series.
We are fans.
Won in '83. But he was bold in his move for a guy that was always not in front of the camera much. When you look at the type of deals he made, acquiring Reggie Jackson and Kenny Holtzman and Tippy Martinez and Scotty McGregor and Steve Stone, when he saw opportunities, he took advantage of them. And then the thing he never gets credit for that really, really I don't understand is that when he went to the Cleveland Indians and they were terrible, he convinced Dick Jacobs for a vision of what to do with the ball club. He's the one who laid the entire foundation for those incredible Cleveland teams, and he was running the franchise. He made the trade for Alomar and Baerga. He was there for Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez, Charles Nagy. He laid the foundation, and just when they were about to be good, he stepped away. And so because that's the way he did his entire career, and I think that in our game, executives are so hard to evaluate from that era because they weren't public. They weren't this star like they're focused on in today's game.
Yeah.
And yet his resume and his accomplishments are as deep as any executive who ever did that role in the history of the game.
I know you're being humble, but that's a great compliment. His best qualities you didn't possess, but wished you did. That's a really nice way to say thanks.
Absolutely.
Certainly appreciate his resume. It stands up to everybody. Once again, Sunday, the contemporary era vote will let you know what happens to the guards of Major League Baseball and the Hall of Fame.